Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you guys here. I cannot believe 2025 is almost over, you guys. I knew for sure I wanted to do my best discoveries of 2025, but I feel like this year has went by genuinely in the blink of an eye. It's almost like you've blinked once, twice, 3 times and the year is almost over, which is crazy to me. And I had the same feeling about 2024, the year prior. And honestly, I don't know if it's only in my case, if it's in your case as well. Let me know in the comment section. But I feel like after the pandemic, my perception of time has been so distorted in a way. Like I feel like I can't really process time the same way I did prior to that. But today's topic is not about how we perceive time, it's about my favorite discoveries of 2025. I have quite a lot of fragrances. I feel like ever since 2024, once I've started to open up myself more to wear certain fragrances that perhaps a few years ago most definitely I wouldn't have worn them. I feel like pretty much the same scenario was happening in 2025 as well. I look at some of these fragrances here and I cannot believe these are fragrances that I cherish them so much. Some of these fragrances became my staples. I've explored so many different scent families that again a few years ago I wouldn't have the openness to explore them and to wear them. So yeah, before I show you these fragrances that I've tried, by the way, to kind of arrange them into different seasons, let's say we'll start with the summery perfumes and then we will move on to more heavy fragrances. I would love to hear what are some of your favorite 2025 fragrance discoveries. Make sure to put them in the comment section and let's all exchange recommendations. Let's all talk about our favorite discoveries from this year. What can I tell you guys? I hope 2025 was good to you, but it doesn't matter if it was a good year, if it was a bad year, it's coming to an end, and let's all hope and wish and pray that 2026 will bring us new opportunities, new experiences, will be a year of peace. Why not? Of peace, of happiness, of joy, of laughter, of love, of health, more than ever. So yeah, this is my wish to you. So let's start, you guys. Like I've mentioned, let's start with my summery perfumes. For me, the summer of 2025 was marked, or not marked, because marked kind of sounds in a negative way, but let's just say the leitmotif of my summer was sugared citruses, sugared lemons, sugared orange peels, everything citrusy but sugared. And from this category, I have some fragrances to show you. Let's start with an oil, you guys, that I feel like it's hands down one of my best discoveries of 2025, not even just for the summer season. I feel like in general, but myself, I've only worn it during the summer season. So I'm talking about the oil called Beirut by Haifa Perfumes. If you've watched, I think I've posted a short, I've mentioned it in a few other videos of mine. Pretty much the first bottle arrived broke, unfortunately, and the oil leaked. But luckily, I've managed to save a lot here. So yeah, just look how much I've used this oil. And I also have another bottle of this oil. Beautiful, extremely versatile oil. If you love sugared citruses in summertime, if you love fragrances like Lira, if you love fragrances like Devotion, this will be an amazing oil to have in your collection. And I cannot believe my love for this oil, you guys. I'm telling you, in the summertime, and citruses are not even some of my favorite notes. At least, actually, they're some of my least favorite notes. But I love sugared citruses. But the way I've worn this oil, I've worn it alone because it's strong enough. I've also worn it layered with other sugared citruses. Delicious Bouquet was another amazing discovery. I've worn these 2 layered. I've also worn it a lot layered with an inspiration of Lira from Haifa Perfumes, the same brand that has this oil. I don't know. You see how much I've loved this fragrance as well. So yeah, I feel like sugared citruses were a leitmotif of my summer. Yeah, all of these kind of fragrances, the one thing they have in common is the joy they bring me in warm weather. I feel like for my taste, they're the perfect balance between something somewhat fruity, light, refreshing, zingy, acidic to a certain extent, but it's paired with something sweet. And this is the perfect combo for me in warm weather. I'm not one who loves your aquatic fragrances. I'm not one, it's not that I don't enjoy them. Like for instance, the right aquatic fragrance or the right freshy fragrance on the right person can really shine. it can really almost elevate that person, like it like fits that person like a glove. But I can say that I found a fresh, I can say that I found a citrusy fragrance, I can say that I found like a citrusy floral, those typical summery fragrances that I feel like fit me like a glove, you know what I mean? So I feel like this is the closest I've ever found to something like that. So yeah, this fragrance, actually let me show you the one that's this one. The actual oil, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful looking presentation with the glass applicator. You feel like a princess when you apply it on. I've applied it in my hair, on my clothes, on my body, mixed with glitter everywhere. Like, yeah, love, 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 love this one, as well as Delicious Bouquet from Afnan. I feel like I've discovered this fragrance a bit later than some of these other fragrances, but this is one that I cannot wait to wear once the summer season comes again. Devotion, but make it sweeter, add a honey facet, and this is this fragrance. Again, it's a beautiful interpretation of a sugar citrus accord paired with different sweet facets, you guys. Everything sweet here, from a creamy vanilla to this beautiful honeyed facet to orange blossom to sugar to everything you can wish for from a summery fragrance. You have it here. I loved these ones during the summertime. But moving on to something else that I loved to wear during the summer season. I have here a fragrance from ZIMAYA called Anhardun, and even though this is not supposed, I mean, the team from ZIMAYA pretty much told me that this is supposed to be an inspiration of this fragrance right here, but from the first moment I've ever smelled this fragrance, it generally reminded me of Sol de Janeiro's Boom Boom Cream. Yeah, even now when I smell it, it generally smells like, to my nose at least, like Sol de Janeiro's Boom Boom Cream, and I am loving it. This is such a fun, easy to wear fragrance that again doesn't feel boring. And again, this is something that works so well for me during the summertime. Beautiful fragrance, not too strong, not too light, not a beast mode, but it has a decent performance. Yeah, I remember wearing this a lot on top of Boom Boom Cream from Sol de Janeiro, and the way these two blended into each other, like, it created such a beautiful sillage, such a beautiful scent bubble around me. And I feel like I have one more fragrance for the summertime, and after that, all of these fragrances, I've discovered them much later. Now, the fragrance that I feel like a few years ago, if someone would say to me that you will wear this kind of fragrance, like this kind of scent profile, I would have been like, you have no idea what you're talking about because you don't know me. But you guys, I was so surprised to see myself slowly but surely falling in love with Habiba by Arabiyat Prestige, a fragrance that's the opposite of everything I'm looking in a fragrance. It's fruity, but it's a light, it's a bright, it's a luminous fruity accord, it's floral also, like the opposite, generally the opposite of everything I'm looking for in a fragrance. This was not, I mean, from the first moment I've smelled it, I always thought it smelled nice, but in my case, this was a slow burn for me. This was the kind of fragrance that I worn it, let's just say in the beginning, I've worn it one day, then the second day, again, being so hot outside, I kind of was like, you know what, let me wear the fragrance I wore the day prior because it smelled really good. And slowly but surely, I found myself gravitating towards this kind of fragrance much more. To me, this is the upgraded version of Air and Juicy Apple from Kayali. It's a much more elevated take on a pretty similar scent profile. So something fruity from the apple, like freshly cut apple, paired with different powdery musky facets, paired with different floral facets in the background. You have the crispness, you have the luminosity, you have the freshness, you have the brightness, you have this radiance, airiness peeking throughout. Another scent profile that I have been loving this year is none other than Vanilla 28 by Kayali. I have two inspirations. I love both just as much, you guys, and I've also worn both a lot. I have here a Rogue's version, which is called 28 Flavors. I know currently it's out of stock on Dubai Collections website. I'm not really sure if or when they will bring it back. And also I want to highlight Ramj Diva from ZIMAYA, you guys. So first things first, of course, these two are very similar, but they have their differences. And I love both just as much, like genuinely, I love both just as much. I always feel this, like this burst of joy in my heart when I smell these fragrances. Like, I don't know how to put it into words, but when I go to my collection and I smell these two fragrances, or when I wear these two fragrances, I always feel like this sense of happiness, of joy, of something bubbly and tickly in my heart, because these two They always put me in such a good mood. Like both of these are a brown sugar, think a brown, like a burnt brown sugar accord mixed with vanilla. This is darker, this is lighter, this is more emphasized on the brown sugar, this is more emphasized on the depth of the vanilla accord. It had something from a vanilla pod almost. Yeah, both are beautiful and both really stood out to me a lot this year, alone or in different layering combinations. Truthfully, when I'm going out, layering combinations. When I'm at home, I also use them alone as standalone fragrances, and I'm loving them. ZIMAYA did a wonderful job with Ramj Diva, and also Rogue did a wonderful job with 28 flavors. So these were some of the other fragrances that I was loving this year. Now, one that I kept mentioning it on my channel, Instantly Yours by Naseem Perfumes. I don't use this fragrance in the regular way you're supposed to use a water-based fragrance. I use this fragrance more so like a scented body lotion that's much more intense and more strong, either mixed with different body lotions. So either instead of a scented body lotion, either mixed with different body lotions. And this fragrance, like if you take this fragrance as a standalone perfume, like I've mentioned in other videos, to me in a nutshell this is a fusion between Black Opium from Yves Saint Laurent with Fever from Jimmy Choo. So if you take this as a standalone fragrance, you might be like, yeah, very designer-esque, nothing groundbreaking, something caramelly, something vanillic, something woodsy, slightly a bit of patchouli in the background, something slightly spicy, very sweet, very designer-esque, very, again, I don't know, to me this gives me like naughty vibes for some reason. Maybe because when I was going clubbing, a lot of women back in the day, I'm talking like I went clubbing like 20 years ago, but like many years ago, let's say, a lot of women in the club used to wear Black Opium from Yves Saint Laurent. But to me, the magic is when you use this one as a base, because like I've mentioned, it's nothing groundbreaking, because it doesn't reinvent the wheel when it comes to fragrances, and because it's a fairly simplistic take on caramel, vanilla, some spices, patchouli, some woods, it creates the perfect base for layering it. And I cannot tell you how well this works when you are going out, when you are going, I don't know, to a wedding, to a special occasion, to a party, to whatever kind of event, or wherever you want your fragrance to shine, to truly shine. The scent and also the strength of your fragrance. If you use something like this as a base, this is my favorite from everything I've tried from Naseem Perfumes, but if you use something like this as a base, it creates the perfect base to layer everything other on top, and I've been loving it in different layering combos. So yeah, wonderful fragrance. And even though I don't wear it in the way it was designed to be worn, but I feel like I've discovered a way to incorporate it into my fragrance ritual that's so well fit for my taste, for my style, for my needs when it comes to fragrance. So yeah, this was another amazing and extremely versatile perfume. And what else to show you? I actually want to leave my favorite, like my most favorite discovery of this year as the last, but let me show you a fragrance that kind of, again, speaking of clubbing, of back in the days when I used to go clubbing much more, I want to highlight this fragrance called The Rose from El Absar. Yeah, this fragrance genuinely brought me back in my era of clubbing, you guys. This fragrance, I've never ever smelled something like this in my life. Again, I've talked about this fragrance in other videos. I told you how it smells, how it develops, how it performs. So in this video, I don't want to focus too much on the scent of a perfume. Of course, I want to mention it, but I'm not gonna go into details. But to me, it's almost like you were to wear Mula Mula Rouge Extreme from Byron. So it's a red fruity forward with something caramelly, with some woodsy facets, and patchouli. So think a caramelized fruity patchouli scent. And you were to mix it with the smell of cigarette smoke. Genuinely, this is how this fragrance smells like. It's so out there, it's so extroverted, it's polarizing, but in the best way possible. It's polarizing in the fruity patchouli era, kind of polarizing, you know? Every time I smell it. And I also pick up a beautiful cotton candy facet here. It's not something for everyone. It's not one of my most worn fragrances. I think you kind of need a specific attitude, a specific energy, a specific mood when you pull out something like this to wear it. But it's that kind of fragrance that doesn't matter if you do 2-3 sprays or 10 sprays. Don't do 10 sprays. I think 10 is a bit too much. But it's that kind of fragrance that it can never go unnoticed. I'm sure people will give you good looks, bad looks, intrigued looks, different kind of looks, but it's that kind of fragrance that awakens a reaction within someone. It's not the kind of fragrance that leaves you just neutral, like meh, you know. No, you either love it or you hate it, but you feel something when you smell this fragrance. Moving on to something a bit more still unique, still creative, but something a bit more wearable. I want to highlight Souvenir Blooming Bliss from Afnan. This is a grown-up vanilla with this beautiful aromatic sage / Palo Santo accord and the creamy coconutty facet. The Palo Santo accord kind of feels smoky or slightly fumé. Yeah, it's such a different, unusual kind of vanilla. So it's not a vanilla that's your cupcakey vanilla. It's your grown-up, serious, mature vanilla. And again, this fragrance surprised me in such a beautiful way. I can't say that I've discovered or that I have explored a lot of these kind of vanilla. So basically a grown-up vanilla, a vanilla accord that doesn't give you girly, bubbly, edible vibes, gourmand vibes by any means. And especially a vanilla accord that's paired with something green and slightly smoky. To me, it's a very unusual pairing, but it's a pairing that that feels creative, that feels artistic, but not too creative to the point where it feels obscure or very hard to wear or challenging by any means. No, to me, this is a wearable creative fragrance. And I love to wear this one alone, but also especially layered with Tiramisu Caramel from ZIMAYA. But feel free, if you have this fragrance, feel free to layer it with anything inspired by Bianco Latte. Whatever you have in your collection, I think it will get the job done, and the scent of those two together, it smells divine. Genuinely divine. I've discovered this fragrance years ago, but it was this year that I have added it to my collection. This is Khaltat Night by Attar Collection. And this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful spicy fragrance. If you're a lover of spices, I have a hard time imagining you will dislike something like this. I think this DNA was done to perfection. So if you see it for a good price, or if you see a sample, a decant, I would encourage you to test it for sure. Speaking of spices, I want to highlight this fragrance, the other fragrance from Hekayat Attar I was talking about, Bacchus Paradiso. Bacchus Paradiso took a boozy accord to the next level. They've added a beautiful raspberry touch. Like I've mentioned, this is my favorite interpretation of Angel Share Paradis. And this is a fragrance that's currently one of my go-to fragrances in my collection whenever I want something sophisticated, elevated, refined, put together, but nothing too, you know how to say, like nothing too classic or classy. I don't feel like I suit classy fragrances. I like unusual fragrances. I like very sweet fragrances. I like fragrances that they bend the rules a little bit, you know? Let's just say that's the best description. I feel like I like fragrances that bend the rules of elegance sometimes, you know? And also of gender. I like fragrances that perhaps some of you will think are more masculine, but I also love your edible gourmand fragrances. So I have pretty diverse, but not so diverse of a scent taste. But this is that kind of fragrance that to me, in a way, bends the rules when it comes to fragrances, because it smells elegant, it smells refined, it smells luxurious, but not how you would expect a young woman to smell like, you know, or a woman to smell like. That kind of elegance that feels classic, not to this, not to that, very well behaved, very well mannered. To me, again, like I told you, this in a way, it's something different, it's something else compared to those classic elegant fragrances, but it always makes me feel so put together and elegant whenever I wear it. And let me see what other fragrances I haven't showed you. Okay, so I haven't shown you this fragrance. This is Vanilla Queen from Rogue Perfume, and this is my favorite inspiration of Burberry Goddess. My favorite inspiration. Angam got much better with time. Athena, very beautiful but quite soft, but this, I love how this fragrance smells like. In the opening, you'll get much more of the aromatic facet of the patchouli and the lavender, but like few minutes in, the cocoa powder starts to shine, the ginger starts to shine, the vanilla gets much darker and it has much more depth. I really like what Rogue's version, no, I really like what Rogue did with this version, or with their interpretation of Burberry Goddess. And one of my favorite layering combos was with Ramj Diva from ZIMAYA. They're a match made in heaven if you want to amplify a bit more the sweetness of a Vanilla Queen. Yeah, to me, this is a very sophisticated fragrance. This is a serious fragrance. Like when you wear something like this, you mean business. Like it's quite a bossy fragrance also. But when you add something like this, like Ramj Diva, or again, Vanilla 28 or any other inspiration of Vanilla 28, that you have in your collection, to me kind of gives it this feminine warmth and sensuality to it. Why not? So yep. And last but not least, yeah, I was looking quickly here to see if I have any other fragrances that I haven't highlighted, but no. If you are here at this part, if you got to this part, I am very curious. If you've been following my channel this year, could you take a guess and let me know in the comments what you think my favorite scent discovery of 2025 is? You guys, this perfume has captivated me, like wink wink, you know, like this perfume genuinely has put a spell on me. This fragrance, I feel like it unlocked something in my brain. This fragrance, like it's, for me again, it's a perfume that goes way beyond it being just a perfume. It's a scented expression, it's scented art, it's scented expression. It is that kind of perfume that mixes, like, I feel like I've mentioned this in the review part as well, but it's, for me, like this perfume in a way kind of sums up when you as a woman, you embrace your inner softness and the strength that it requires to embrace your inner softness instead of being all, you know, like you embrace your inner softness, your inner radiance, your inner femininity, your inner vulnerability. You don't keep it so hidden anymore. But at the same time, it's intense. It's not something like dimmed, you know, it's not something like stretched. No, it's intense. Like it comes with a lot of passion and intensity and sensuality. To me, this is Capti from Brecourt. Like this fragrance, the perfumer, of course, to me, the perfumer behind, she created a masterpiece. Like the feelings and emotions and energies this kind of fragrance evokes in me, and the way this fragrance makes me feel, like it's one of a kind, genuinely one of a kind. To me, this, if you haven't watched the review for this fragrance, I was sent a sample of this fragrance by someone who's watching my videos, and in case you're watching this video, you know who you are, and thank you very much. And from the first sniff, I fall in love with this fragrance. Imagine the most beautiful, delicate yet present milky almond accord, candied violet, sweet orange blossom, a creamy vanilla, and then gentle incensey patchouli facets in the background. Like this fragrance combines brightness with depth. It combines sensuality with something a bit provocative. It combines something angelic with the opposite of something very naughty. Like it's a fragrance of contrast in a way. Like how can an almond milk accord work so well with patchouli? It works amazing. How can an orange blossom accord work so well with incense? It works amazing. I think it's about what each of these notes brings out in each other, and this to me again was done in a way that makes it, at least to me, a masterpiece. I don't know if you like this kind of fragrances, if you like a milky almond with creamy vanilla, with a hint of incense, with a hint of patchouli, but when you hear a hint of incense and patchouli, they don't play much texture wise, they just add depth. To me, the texture of this fragrance, it's creamy, it's milky, but an almond milk with vanilla, with orange blossom. Oh, you guys, this fragrance, it's outstanding if you ask me. And we got to the end of the video, guys. These were some of my best 2025 discoveries. I feel like each one of these fragrances has either changed something in the way I view fragrances, either I have clicked with it in such a personal way. I generally feel like a connection with this, with some of these fragrances, but I feel like none of them made it into the video just because they smell good. I feel like all kind of surprised me in a way, like they have something about them that truly made them stand out in my collection and to my nose. Yeah, what can I tell you? I am glad I am slowly, very slowly but surely starting to explore much more different scent profiles. I think, even though I was always very passionate about fragrances, but I don't think I always had the openness to wear something that wasn't like me in a bottle from the first spray, you know? But I'm glad I am slowly but surely doing this, because I am discovering fragrances that truly make me feel good. And I think, as you can see, we have here fragrances that are extremely affordable, like what, like 20 euros. We have some fragrances that are perhaps a bit more expensive, but something I want you to take from this video is not about the price of a perfume. I don't think it's ever about the price of a perfume. It is not just the price that makes a fragrance good or bad. I think you can find fragrances that are outstanding within all price ranges, And you can find fragrances that are not really your cup of tea or even more terrible, let's say, in all price ranges, you know. So don't judge a fragrance based on how it looks, based on the notes. Don't judge a fragrance based on what anyone else says about it. Judge a fragrance based on your nose. Judge a fragrance based on how it makes you feel. Because at the end of the day, you're the person that's wearing the fragrance, so you're the person who should fully enjoy and love the fragrance. So yeah, I am very happy with the fragrances I've discovered this year, honestly. Some of them I cannot wait to wear them in the summer, but until then I am fully enjoying and wearing the fragrances that are like autumn winter in a bottle. And also this one for date nights. I am loving this kind of fragrance. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Thank you for being here another year with me on my channel. My channel this year, truthfully, it was nothing like I've planned it to be. If you remember, if you're here since March, my channel had a very unexpected bot attack that lasted actually a month, like full month. And at a certain point, I genuinely thought my channel would be shadow banned. I was hoping that by the end of 2025, I would reach 25,000 subscribers. I've been here in March, it will be 5 years, you guys. I mean, the end of February, beginning of March. Will be 5 years since I'm here on YouTube, and I had moments or years when the growth was much higher. I've had years when the channel was a bit more stagnant, but truthfully I really thought that this year I would hit 25,000 subscribers. It didn't happen, and I'm almost certain it was because of the bot attack, because it really messed with the algorithm, with my reach, with my engagement. A lot of you were not seeing my videos, but yeah, it is what it is, you know, like we move on, we move forward, we focus on the present, we focus on the future, and we hope for things to be better. Why not? I will still be here, I'm not going anywhere. So the person who was clearly so bothered about me here on YouTube, I'm still here, I'm not going anywhere, even though the growth is more slow than I thought it would be. But I love the community we have here, and this is something that you cannot buy. The community, the connection you have with people here, it's something you cannot buy. And I love my interactions here with you. I love that we talk about a lot of different things besides fragrances, and I feel like I have a handful of people that are truly here because they resonate with me, with my videos, with my style of discussing fragrances, and to me this genuinely means the world. Let me just close out the video, because ideally I want to film a few videos after, because December will be a pretty busy month, and I know for sure I want to be present here on YouTube as well during this busy moment. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here, for each single one of your comments, of words of encouragement, of love, of support you've left. I'm sending all that love and beautiful energy back to you. Hopefully I will see you here in 2026 as well. But until then, I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye guys.